I've seen this firsthand. This darkness and this power doesn't want you to work in the light, obviously, because it has a massive foothold on every other aspect of life. You can't, I'm sorry guys, you can, it is love in the world, don't get me wrong, I've seen it, it's beautiful, it's amazing, but darkness seems to be running amok. Yo paranormal peeps, how you doing? I am on the story of a case I did, I think it was back in 2013, and I had an email saying I've been using a sleep bot and I've picked up voices. Gives this young lady a ring and she sent me the recording, so I went along to investigate. This house is in Cardiff, well-known area of Cardiff. I turned up at the property. I'd rung my team, I told them what was going on. We went down there to have a listen to this sleep bot and listen to these voices she'd picked up, because it's only her and her children in the house, and there was these male voices talking. I can feel there's a little bit more to what she's telling me than the case. I do a little visual around the property, do some like normals, EMF checks, and have a little look around, and she's telling me where there's different things happening around. This story sort of builds up, and I can remember in this moment saying to her, I feel like there's a curse. So she started telling me her history and her links to some things that are quite extraordinary. And there was links in her family tree to Germany during World War II and the Nazis. There was links to her through other means of devil worship, and she was a practicing witch. Then I found out about the history of the house, which it was used to be prostitutes and drug dealers, and a young girl had died because I picked up her energy like within moments of being in the property. We kept in contact, and I'd come back and forth to the property, and I think it was the second or third time. Well, she'd sent us a video basically of a toy, and she was having interaction with it. She was actually talking to this toy, and it was responding to what she was asking it. I took one of my investigators who'd been on the first case, Gary, and we went and did an investigation in the house to have a look at what we could pick up and what was sort of going on. So me and Gary had gone down there to look at the video, and you could actually see the wheel on this like toy car, and when you turned the wheel, basically the car went bring bring, but it only did it if you turned it, and you had like a little finger dimple in this wheel, and we actually witnessed it turning. But she'd also noticed something in the corner. Now I've got this picture on my Facebook somewhere, and I will try and find it, and I will try and show you. Hopefully it may be in this video. It was a long time ago, but it looks like the weirdest kind of creaturey goblin thing I've ever seen. This house, there was something, I couldn't quite put my finger on it. The energy, the form of energy in this property was quite something. Well, me and Gary were sat in the one room, and I saw something like superimpose over Gary as he was looking in the mirror. This like bald man, this face, this scarred, wrinkled face sort of like superimposed itself over Gary. And as I was continuing to look in the mirror, Gary moved because he didn't like it, what he was seeing. There was a tall man standing there with a girl in his arms, and she was face up, and she had long hair, and he was just standing there with this look on his face, and he wasn't sort of looking directly at me, he was staring downwards, and I was staring at this figure in this mirror, and I had to actually look away because it was too much for my mind to take. And you know, as you would have seen the story so far, I'm feeling confident in my power, I'm feeling confident in my abilities, and I'm on the right side, so that's given me lots of confidence. But this was something else, seeing this. And then all of a sudden Gary says, "Rich, my back's burning." Well, I can remember him lifting up his top, and he had a set of 3 scrams running from his shoulder to just by his hip, the full length of his back. And when he took his top up, I went, "Bloody hell, guy," I said, "I didn't know you had like John J. Rambo scars on your back." Like, I said, "That's crazy." He said, "I haven't got no scars on my back." I said, "But I'm looking at them, and they look like old white scars, because they were quite thick and standing out off his back. And as I'm staring at them, they just start to pick with blood, and then the blood starts to appear then, coming down his back. And yeah, something had scrammed him, like, and I mean scrammed him. This isn't like a little mark you see on Ghost Adventurers or something. This is the full length of his back. And I remember he was pretty shook up and frightened by it, which it would be, is understandable. And we walked into another room, and I'm trying to say, and I'm a bit like shocked because he's got these marks on him. And the next thing the ovular says something about the scrams, and he receives another set. I think it was on his chest, and the ovular said there's going to be more, basically. And we tried to go downstairs, and we were using the ovulas, and we were talking, and more sets of scrams. I think he had 5 sets of scrams on him. But the poor boy was in hell of a state, and he decides to go to Llandaff Cathedral in Cardiff the next day and get blessed. And he did take a bit of a time out from the paranormal after this. And we got rid of some objects that were made in regards to like the watchers. There was owls and objects, and this thing had been made for her. And I told her to destroy them, but there was still energy. It was still this thing, this darkness in the house, this energy, and you couldn't quite put your finger on it. So I'd asked a gentleman called Lionel Fanthorpe, who is a supernatural vicar, and he deals with the supernatural. He played himself in the film The Omen, and I'd watched him on this series called Weird Wales, and I was a big fan and admirer. And I'd phoned him up and asked him if he would do an exorcism on the property, because the church wasn't helping with any of these cases I was dealing with. And I mean, they wouldn't help it, and they're not interested, most of them. And which I'll go into, I'm going to go and do a video about that, about faith. And I'll tell you why the church doesn't do these things.